What's up, friends? Happy Thursday. I had to remember what day it was. I am in a very familiar place to you guys by now. I am in Jessica's high tunnel. I'm checking on everything. My friend Sean and I planted dahlias in here, which are coming up. I wanted to show you we planted ginger a while back, which is popping up. We've got a bunch of sunflowers back here in this kind of in-ground space she has behind the backyard. So I kind of wanted to give you guys an update on all of the fun stuff. It's been really cool just to be able to like come over here and like work on things. You know, that's not something that we take for granted, like knowing that we get to go ahead and work and sow into what is going to be ours in just, you know, a few short weeks. And so that's actually really cool to me, is seeing the whole process and not just coming into it like not really having an idea of where things are, like a vision. Like we've been actively working towards our goals here and what we want to do, which I think is really cool. But Jessica and I have kind of come to an agreement that I would man most of the things in the tunnel. They obviously are like moving across country, right? So they have a lot going on, a lot more than we have going on, and I do value that she's doing a lot of this, and she's doing this for us out of just, you know, an act of love, and so I really appreciate that. And so I kind of just came to her and was like, hey, what do you need help with? Like, how can I lighten your load? And so we agreed that I would take care of the tomatoes in the high tunnel for the most part. I have a seller for those. Even though I said I wasn't going to sell produce, when, you know, someone in your community is like, hey, do you have anything? I didn't want to turn them down. And so we're actually going to be taking care of a lot of this, giving it to that restaurant in Conway. And so today I'm going to be pruning these tomatoes, tying the tomatoes up. So I did just kind of bring my handy pruners and some tomato tape, and I thought I'd just take you guys to show you how easy it is. My tomatoes haven't really required a lot of attention to me this year. They did have, you know, the issues with blight, and so I just ripped a lot of them up, but I haven't been spending a lot of time attending to my things in my garden, unfortunately. So this would be a good opportunity to just kind of show you guys what I do, how easy it is to prune your tomatoes, how beneficial it is to prune your tomatoes. So I want to show you the dahlias real quick, and then we'll get started. They are definitely starting to pop up. We've got the row back there. These little guys are hot. But yeah, they're starting to come up. We're still missing some here because I did plant all of this. I'm sure they'll pop up soon. But I am real excited that these are at least coming up. Oh, there's the tomato tape. I literally feel like it's a jungle in here. It's crazy. It is a beautiful day here though. It's 70 degrees. It feels amazing. So thankfully the tunnel's not really hot. So it's a good day to get a lot of work done in here. So Jess is literally, I talked to her on the way over here, and she gave me full reign just to do whatever I wanted to do, which was nice. You guys can see here, when your plant starts getting these diseases, I kind of mentioned this in an earlier video too, you really want to make sure that you just get all those out as soon as possible, because what's going to happen is that disease is going to spread to other parts of the plant, which is exactly what is happening here. So I'm just going through and getting some of that icky stuff off. I do know that these are the, she's got ground cherries in here. This is so funny. I do know that these are the Grand Marshalls, I believe, which I have grown these before. They're really, really good high producers. They are determinate varieties. However, you can prune them some. So I'm kind of going in and doing a light pruning, which means most of these have already split to, you know, a 2-liter plant, which is okay. And determinates, typically you don't heavily prune like you would an indeterminate. So I'm just getting some of the foliage off of the bottom of the plant. Obviously, taking out any one that looks sick or diseased. We're gonna tie up the rest. This is so funny to me. She's got these, like, I guess maybe she planted ground cherries here last year. This is insane. It's already producing these little, y'all see those? You see those little pods right there? That's so funny. I am removing that, and when I see them, I'll continue to remove them, mainly just because the plants are fighting for the same nutrients, and obviously that was probably just a volunteer. I highly doubt she planted that close, so I'm just kind of doing an estimate These look really, really good though. All right, so let's talk through some of the basics. Why do you prune tomatoes? Air circulation is huge a lot of times, which in here, it's a much more controlled environment, right? So she's in a tunnel, she's not exposed to, you know, rainfall and things like that. But if you are growing tomatoes not in a tunnel and you're getting a lot of rainfall and you've just got plants with a whole lot of leaves, a whole lot of foliage, that's when you're gonna start having blight due to overwater. There's not a lot of airflow. The leaves aren't able to just completely dry out and keep all those like fungus and stuff away. It also is really good too if you can catch them, especially on an indeterminate variety, and have it be a single leader or a double leader plant. That way all the energy is just going into producing the fruit on those 2 liters or that single leader, versus like back home, I've got some that are literally like 4 liter plants. Well, that's a lot of energy that my plants are putting in a lot of different directions that could have been, you know, just avoided had I pruned them down in enough time to a single liter. So air circulation, less disease, healthier plants, larger fruit, you know, that's all really important things. And it's also just kind of cleaner. Once you've gotten to a good pruning routine, you'll notice that it doesn't take that long. Yeah, so some of these are just wild. Oh my gosh, it's like these have all put out multiple liters, and all these liters on here just had this, you know, crazy amount. Ideally, you want to catch this before now, right? So when you first start noticing, that's when you want to go ahead and try to train your tomato, do the necessary pruning to where you just stick with that single or double leader. When you end up getting multiple liters, that's just a sucker that didn't get, you know, pruned in time, and it ended up becoming like a main established part of the plant. So I am always a huge proponent for haircuts just because I just think they're better. It's just better for the plant in general. All right. One thing you do want to note too, though, if you are growing outside and not in a tunnel, I've been guilty of this several times. If you prune too much and there's not enough foliage directly over the plant, then you can deal with what is called sun scald. And it is literally just where the fruit of on your plant, your tomato, gets scalded by the sun, and it looks like a really bad burn. And so obviously you don't want to do that either. So I always say leave a little bit of the foliage directly above you know, the sets of fruit. So usually I prune a lot on the bottom. I'm going through taking suckers off, but you want to make sure that you're not removing all of them and there's no like covering for your actual fruit, because otherwise it'll scald and then it's no good that way either. This guy though has a whole lot of fruit on it. Check that out down there. So obviously we're just going to want to get these like supported up. So my plan is to lean them up. She's got this cattle panel in here, and just tie them up to this for support. That way they're up off the ground and they're not rotting. So I am using just this rolled tape. I buy 3-pack at a time off of Amazon. You literally just pull out however much you need, snap it off. It wraps around the plant, but it doesn't dig into it. I found it's one of the better options I have found that I like for tying up tomatoes. Oh man, that's a sad day. So I did end up going ahead and taking off. This was a 4-liter plant. I pruned it down to a 2-liter plant. I know that sounds sad, but by removing that, even if there is already existing fruit on here, it's just going to tell this plant to put all of its energy into the tomatoes that are already on here, making them bigger, you know, them ripening faster. It really is beneficial. I know sometimes it's hard and you're like, oh man, there's so much fruit on here, but you'd be surprised how much better the fruit and bigger the fruit will be if you end up doing like those necessary prunings. All right, y'all ready to see now that it's gotten its little haircut? So I did actually prune this one quite a bit, mainly because down here there was another main leader and another leader that actually just broke off. But as you guys can see here, now she's got large, huge clusters of fruit that will ripen faster. They'll be bigger fruit because now all the plant's just putting its energy into these. And then she has a few more clusters up here. Overall though, this is, you know, a pretty healthier plant as far as airflow. Yes, we are making progress. So excited. So I do want to show you guys the ginger. It's coming up so nicely. Check out that ginger. Look how fast it's grown. I think that's what's so crazy to me. It's just grown so fast. So that'll be so awesome. So amazing. My gosh, I am so excited just to see the amount of food that I'm gonna get to crank out in this place. Oh my gosh, look at that. That's so exciting. That is signs of a job well done. So the plan is to have this bed done too. Jessica's actually not even here. So I don't know that I'll even see her today. And so my hope was when she walked into the tunnel to have these two main beds done. I do not think I'm gonna get to the back part today, but hopefully if I can at least get this done, that'll kind of take some stress off of her shoulders. She can come in here and just like, you know, that's one less job that she has to do. So I'm putting in my sweat equity for all that she's done so far. Alright guys, I am officially done. I feel like I left it better than it was when I came in here, which is kind of just a motto I've been trying to live my life by. Leave every place I go, every experience, every person I meet better than when I found it. Friendships deeper than when I first met them. And so this just kind of, for me, I've been thinking through a lot of stuff lately. I've just had such a heaviness about some of the things I've been called to, and just really feeling super passionate about those things. And so this is one of those ways that I could do an acts of service and acts of love, and just kind of give back just a little bit. I didn't get all the tunnel done, but this is my way of showing them that I care about them and that I really appreciate all the things they're doing to make sure that we walk into this next chapter just prepared, equipped, food already growing, and that really does mean a lot to me. But thank you guys so much for hanging out, and we'll talk to you soon.